Howe. That'll do it! That will do it! Howe for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Well, good afternoon, Bournemouth fans. Final score from Old Trafford then was Manchester United 5, Bournemouth 2. My name's Sam Davis. Welcome to Back of the Net. First thing I want to say, if you haven't subscribed, please do so because it really helps us. And at this early stage, despite your disappointment, it would be really great if you could give us a thumbs up as well. Football, bloody hell. That game was like our Premier League season summed up. A relatively bright start. Some glimpses throughout, but pretty much other than that, the same old story. You can't say it was gutless, and in this match you can't say that the players didn't care, but once again our tactical inadequacies were exposed, whether that's down to the individuals on the pitch or the person that instructs them. That's yet to be known. But is there room for optimism? Possibly. But the fact there's only 5 games to go leaves us in an invidious position. The game had everything, really. Great goals, VAR controversies, and some more gift-wrap moments, which means the home side managed to ease to a relatively easy victory in the end. And Bournemouth are sadly preparing for a summer where they're looking not to go to the likes of Newcastle next season, but to places like the New York Stadium instead. Really disappointed, but let's be frank, we did see a few more moments of Bournemouth joy during that 90. The quality of United cannot be underestimated, but with 17 defeats in the last 22, it's not looking good for Bournemouth. You've got to look at our remaining fixtures though. Man City aside, based on the form of others, maybe barring Southampton, maybe they're winnable. Am I deluded? Either way, early doors, Junior Stanislas did David De Gea again from a tight angle, not for the first time, but despite that surprise, Man United came back with a superb strike from Mason Greenwood and then Rashford. And then, well, the second half, we know what happened there. We'll talk about it in this next hour or however long we're going to be here. We're joined by a number of supporters that you've probably seen before. But if you want to come on, young or old, male or female, whatever, just go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. You'll get taken to a screen where you've just got to allow your camera and mic. You put in your name, and then we'll bring you on board. I can see Max, Paul Lawrence, and Reese waiting. First person I'm going to bring in there today is Morgan Scott. Morgan, how are you?
Yeah, hi Sam. Wow, what can I say? Great start. Bournemouth did it. I got some. I don't know if you can see behind me. I've been on BT Sport. They they had technical problems every time we scored. I think it's a glitch. But yeah, decorated up the room. Some shirts by me. Got my scarf on. Got my shirt on. Got my. Got the full kit on today. Unbelievable. It was a good start. Man, you got one back, and then it kind of went from bad to worse. We went into the second half. We got that penalty, and then it went from there to there. And
we were exposed during many parts of that first half. I thought, not least on the right hand side, there left. It looked like Adam Smith was out of position on a number of occasions, and David Brooks also wasn't tracking back. So it was a right-sided problem. Luke Shaw seemed to have so much space. And I mean, for that first strike, it was a cracking strike. Ramsdale, maybe he'll be disappointed with himself when he looks back at it. But yeah, they seem to have so much joy. And it's, Adam Smith, the guy that a lot of people were saying, maybe he shouldn't be starting. But I'm also going to bring in another few faces here whilst we go as well. So Reese is standing by. But first, Paul Lawrence and also Craig Beasley as well. Paul in Florida, we'll come to you, mate. Thoughts on that performance?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty positive, honestly. I mean, that's the most enjoyable bit of football I've seen in a while from us. I know that we got completely torn to shreds. Every time Manchester United went forward, at times it looked like, they could have scored probably 6 or 7 more, you know, and it was going to be one of those types of games. But I'm trying to look at the positives here. We created more. We looked like we played with some freedom. I thought technically we were better playing out the back. I'm gonna see that as a positive for Eddie. He actually looked like he had a smile on his face at parts of the game. I mean, he'll be disappointed with the goals. The one thing I will say, Sam, that frustrated me a little bit is every time we got ourselves really in the game, you know, we made it 3-2. The naiveness, the youth of our team is just so exposed in those moments. I think we could have cleared our lines in that little scrappy passage of play before Greenwood goes and scores. If we could just survive in those moments and actually play our way back into the game, I think we had a goal chalked off for offside, could have tied it up. It's the small things right now, but I'm taking massive pride in that type of game. I have to now.
Craig, you were part of the BT Sport panel as well, weren't you, today? And you must have been going absolutely nuts when Stanislas scored that opener.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, it was fantastic. Yeah, it was a dream start, absolutely dream start. Unfortunately, they had some technical problems that meant my celebration couldn't get on there.
No. I think I saw Alex on there and Cherry Bear on some replay on Twitter or something. But that's about
I have had. I think I've had a message that's turned around and said, "Oh, you know, where are you?" But I've just given up on it. I've just come straight on it, Sam.
Yeah, shame that it didn't work out. But I mean, let's wind back to 2 o'clock when you saw the teams. It obviously took me surprised with regards to the centre-back pairing. I was thinking Chris Mepham would step right in, but as it turns out, Cookie and Mepham are out. And then Lloyd Kelly deputises. What are your thoughts on that? And Rico, who a lot of us have been clamouring for, he was in as well.
To be honest, I don't think Kelly did a bad job. I don't think he did a bad job. He was inexperienced, but I think he did an all right job. I think the 3 goals, the first one, Smith completely lost Greenwood, so it's Smith's fault. Second goal, well, it was handball. He'd moved his hand. I think he was a little bit unlucky. And then, the third goal, again, he completely lost Martial. And you can't. But what is most annoying for me, Sam, is if we played like we did today, especially in that first 45 minutes against Palace, against Newcastle, we would have got something from those games. And it's that which really irritates me, because that could be the difference between us staying up and going down. And to be honest, we're right up against it. I honestly can't see it. I can't see a way out of it. Can't see a way out of it. I just hope.
With the matches we've got left, I mean, you're looking at them thinking, well, man, what I'm going to do, Craig, whilst I'm speaking, I'm just going to mute you because I can hear some kind of like Disney music in the background. I feel like sort of doing a Frozen track, like going solo.
Yeah, that's my daughter's.
I love it. I'll just come back to Morgan for a bit. Morgan, there were a number of buzzwords that were betrayal, anger, disappointment, sadness. Do you have any of those this time, or is there a bit more optimism? Because Paul, I think, echoed somewhat how I feel as well. I'm not as down, and Saturday night is not going to be as bad as I think it's going to be after seeing some elements of that performance. There were some bits of Bournemouth that we know and love, weren't there?
There was, yeah, and to be honest with you, Paul, obviously, I'm down here in England, but it doesn't matter where you're watching. There were definitely brighter bits of play. I thought in that there's a lot of positives we can take from that first half of football, and I think people have been fans. They are on Bournemouth's back, and we're only doing it for the correct reasons. But I think it is really important for the players to take some positives from the game this afternoon. We got a tough run coming up, as you mentioned, Sam. But hopefully from that 45 minutes against Spurs, we can build some momentum. United were class today. Fernandes and Paul Pogba, I know there was a joke that they would be out, but they were sensational. And then you've got Greenwood, Martial. They were just, I hate to say it, but we were just second best today. And that's what happens in football sometimes, more so than not at the moment. But Bournemouth are in real trouble. The only thing I didn't understand is why not give Sam Sturridge a go? Solanke just, he doesn't offer anything going forward. Yeah, okay, he's got another, 60, 70 minutes under his belt, but he did nothing. Hopefully, David Brooks will be okay. Hopefully that's just a bit of overtime. But, 91 minutes in, and I had texts coming through and people were just saying, we're just standing here like lemons. And it was just absolutely hopeless. If it wasn't for Aaron Ramsdale Day, we could be talking, I don't know, maybe even double figures. He made some really, really decent routine save. So, going into Spurs, I'm not so sure. I had a friend who said we're going to be sat back at Dean Court next season and it's going to be Championship football. Now, I know that might sound really negative, but let's be realistic. We have Spurs, Man City, Southampton and Everton, if I'm correct, from our last few games.
But you saw Spurs against Sheffield United, though. They were hopeless. They were really bad.
They were, yeah. So you look at that, and that gives you a little bit of faith. But I look at that Bournemouth performance today, and although it was a little bit better, I'm not being funny. Like, that isn't a Premier League performance. We need to be. So I went to Chelsea back in 2018, and we won 3-0, and we all got back on the bus, absolutely buzzing. And then this season, when we were there and we got the VAR goal through down flick on by Jefferson Lerma and Dan Goffin managed to get it in. But to be honest with you, I think and people probably criticise this negativity, but Bournemouth are only going to be playing in one competition next season, and that will be the Bet Championship. And it sounds really blunt, but we sat here 3 times in the last 10 or so days, and it's just not getting much better. Football's a 90-minute game. There's no one showing any fight on that pitch. Bring back Mark Pugh, bring back Simon Francis, and we need to fight, because if we don't buck our ideas up in the next game or so, we are only going to be sat at Dean Court in the Championship.
It's too little too late. I mean, it's Pugh, bless him, I love him, but his mentality is a lot to be admired, but technically whether he would be able to do it, I'm not too sure. But Solanke, I'm going to play devil's advocate and say in that second half at the start, he played better when he came a lot deeper and he then collected the ball, and he when he runs with it, he's quite a scary proposition. And it was his ball, wasn't it, that put Dan Juma in for that disallowed goal. But do you think people like Sam Sturridge should be starting then? And what about Dan Gosling as well? Because a lot of people thought Dan Gosling was going to be a shoo-in after that interview. He hasn't started yet, and he showed all the right signs, at least to the AFCB media team. Yet he's not selected. What's going on there?
I think I'll come to Sturridge first, if that's okay. I do think Eddie needs to change something. So you played Solanke today. I don't. Words fail me. Like, without being rude, I don't understand how he kind of played. I met him in Nando's for the first about 6 months ago to get a photo. That was the first time I met him. But apart from that, I don't know. I don't think he's I don't think he's Championship quality. I think he's on a league player. You look at like Jamie Vardy, who's come through the ranks into Premier League football, and you look at Solanke. I just had a text through my Apple Watch this evening to say that Vardy reached 100 Prem goals, and you look at Solanke, and he hasn't even got a 1 Prem goal for Bournemouth. So you look at that, and then you look. What was your second question? Sorry.
About Dan Gosling, because Dan.
So going
to start.
So I rate Dan Gosling. I think he's definitely one of the people who want to make the team, and I don't think he's so arrogant or cocky. I look at Lewis Cook today, completely bullied. Jefferson Lerma, definitely not a normal self. Definitely need got Dan Gosling in there. Look at him, he got the goal. Yeah, it was the worst goal we ever probably seen, but he shows fight and determination. And right now, it's going to be a really sad Saturday evening again. And to be honest with you, I feel hurt, disappointed, and that might sound a bit childish, but the mentality from the players today was absolutely shocking. You think about giving 110% and anything is possible. There was nothing. There was some more positives, as Paul mentioned, but apart from that 95 minutes, all I wanted was that final whistle, because it was absolutely shocking. And the fact that that's been broadcast on TV, the fact that we have to watch it back on Match of the Day tonight, I definitely won't be watching. Well, no, I won't be. But Match of the Day, after so long without Match of the Day, it's always nice to watch. But I think I might just get a drink at that point. We got Spurs on Thursday, I believe. Yeah. Definitely need Eddie to say something. I don't know what he's going to do. You talk about injuries as well. Chris Mepham, Steve Cook, David Brooks, hopefully it'll be all right. To be honest with you, our squad just seems to be just knackered. It seems knackered, and it seems like they just don't want it. Half the team are going to go next season, and I think it's time to sort it out. And I hate to say, but maybe it's time for Eddie to move on.
Okay, we're going to take you out for the meantime, but feel free to pop back in later on, Morgan. So I'll just put you on standby whilst we bring in Mark. Reese is standing by and Louis here as well. Mark, performance out of 10, what would you give that?
It's a bit of a strange feeling, that one, Sam, isn't it? I'm obviously sat here feeling a little bit dejected, obviously, because of the loss and the fact that we've conceded the most amount of goals, but also on the same side, I'm also feeling, quite positive about all of that, because, there was a real, impetus. It felt like a little bit more of the old Bournemouth that we've, seen in previous games. So, I mean, really, I'm going to give that probably maybe a 7.5. It's like I say, it's a real strange one, because you just think to yourself, I mean, our season seems to have been defined by a lot of, silly mistakes, either misplaced passes. And if we just sort of take those out of the game, obviously, as well as some of the VAR decisions, you never know. We could be sat in a much better position than what we currently are at the moment.
Yeah. Do you think that Morgan was being a bit, disingenuous when he's talking about, the team was, nobody was playing well, or, he said, things along the lines of like team mentality wasn't there. I certainly thought it was better. And we saw flashes of the old Bournemouth. I mean, Lewis Cook was, pinging great balls on the left to King, who was picking it up every now and then. And Stanislas was also a bright spark. And, that opening stage of the game, I thought we felt very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you there, Sam, because, like with Craig and with Morgan, I was on part of the BT fan wall. I've actually just stepped away because I would much rather watch this, if I'm honest with you, given the technical difficulties. I've never had any faults with this. Finally having Rico back in the side, he definitely gave us a lot more attacking impetus. Initially, I probably wouldn't have gone with Stanislas, but, he looked, really useful on the ball today, really wanted to get at the players, especially with Lindelof, and, he got his goal, which, it was a great finish. Unfortunately, he's got a bit outshone by that Mason Greenwood player. But, I definitely feel that, going forward, there was a lot more impetus to try and, get at Man United, try and run at their defence. I think, again, it's just a shame that, some silly mistakes, unfortunately, have just cost us on this occasion, along with, some brilliance from some real quality players from United. We've got to give them credit in that respect. But if we just seem to cut out some of these silly mistakes, then we would have been in that game for a lot more, a lot longer. Yeah. Again, a lot of our play seems to be defined by from some of the older Bournemouth styles is we seem to get at the top teams within the first sort of like 6 to 10 minutes, and then we just sort of tend to sort of tail off. And this was evidence in in this game. We go and get our goal, and then at the start of the second half as well, with Dan Juma hitting the post as well, and then really as soon as we got sucker punched, it's we just seem to sort of tail off, and that's when we didn't really get anything going forward. Yeah. Personally, what I would like to see is if we are going to bring players on like Billing, it's very sort of difficult to identify what he really does bring to the team at the moment. So I would see him as sort of like our Fellaini player. Let's get him in the box, and even if our plan B is, let's just get this ball into the box, start making him, being a nuisance, getting his head on the ball, albeit he did miss one today, which I thought was quite funny before he lost out to Fred, but if you can, sort of muscle in a little bit and try and get the ball knocked down, maybe, we might get the odd, 1 or 2 goals where we just sort of poke it in and, just lift things up a bit more.
Yeah, it's interesting actually, Paul, because we had a message from Alex Hall. Great song, by the way. Shame the team weren't listening to that. We'll be retweeting your link again some point this evening. And you're saying United Clinical, we routinely lose big against the big teams. But do you think for all of the things we're feeling at the moment, obviously there is a little spark of optimism, whereas after the Newcastle match there wasn't. Are we maybe losing sight of the fact that that is a Man United team that are on an upward trajectory at the moment, who are confidence is flowing through their veins, and they seem to have hit this rich vein of form that they arguably haven't had in a number of seasons?
Yeah, while I'm really pleased with the attacking threat that we offered today, I'm still the reality of how poor we are defensively. I think every time a team goes forward right now, it doesn't matter whether it's Newcastle, Palace, Manchester United, teams look like they're going to cut us open. And it's just too easy right now to score on us. So while I'm very optimistic and very excited by what I saw today, I think Eddie and Jason know that for whatever reason this season, more than others, because I know we've conceded more goals than any team in, I think, the Premier League over the last 4 or 5 years, we're going to concede goals. We're going to continue to do that. Outside of Nathan, Ake, I'm not convinced we've got anyone at the club right now that can keep out goals in the Premier League. And I really feel that way in games, that we might score 2 goals, but we're probably going to concede, 3 or 4. I mean, the last 2 games we've conceded 5 and 4 goals. And I think while I'm optimistic, the way I'm looking at it, Sam, is I still think we're going down, but I'm trying to enjoy these last few moments in the Premier League. And I know that sounds really sad and sick, but I've been there. I used to have a season ticket. I used to go to Dorchester Town, watching Bournemouth on the road, catching a train there. I've been there in League 2 and League 1. So as a fan, I'm sitting here tonight thinking it's sad that it's coming to an end, but we have to somehow try to enjoy the moments that we're getting right now as Cherries fans. And Eddie Howe, for all those people that think he should go, I think you're wrong, because I think if you look at the timeline, everyone, of how long we've got to rebuild a squad over the summer with minimal time to do that, Eddie's going to get the best out of the younger players. He's proven that at the lower leagues, he's a fantastic manager. And I think right now we're all angry, we're all upset, and obviously the coronavirus is not making it any easier in many ways. But we have to find a way to stick together through this moment here, because trying to tell the players they're not good enough, trying to tell Eddie that he's not good enough, we're going to need that guy in the summer. We are. Who's going to come in the summer is going to help us get us back in the Premier League? Ultimately, the best chance of us keeping our better players is probably Eddie as well.
Yeah, agreed. I think there was some people on forums asking for Sam Allardyce and people like that. So what do you think? Short term for like 4 or 5 games, I think it's even too late for someone like him. But if he did, if we did go down, to be lumbered with him for a season would be depressing, wouldn't it?
I think there's several players that will be on the verge of looking for a move. But I think if they don't get the right money, or if the moves don't come their way, Eddie can. He's good with his words. He's clever. I think he can motivate them just to give us one more go in the Championship. And I think the best chance we've got of keeping hold of some of the bigger players, and I'm not talking about King and Callum. I think that's going to be difficult. Lewis Cook and players like that, Lerma. I'm talking about some of the younger players that might want to take a Premier League move. I'm saying Eddie might be able to keep them with us in the Championship. So that's the way I'm looking at it. I'm trying to enjoy these last few games. I think we're going down, but I'm not going to get angry. I'm past getting angry. I just want to try to enjoy this period, honestly.
Good man. Quickly, just before you go, Paul, what's the coverage of the Championship like over in America? I mean, I know the Premier League games are on NBCSN. You can watch every single one, watch it on demand or whatever. What about the Championship? Is there still TV coverage of that?
We do, yeah. We have ESPN Plus. It will air Championship games. We'll be lucky to probably get 6 or 7 a year. It's going to be difficult for me. I'll be listening to Radio Solon. The sad thing for me and the sad thing for international fans is that if we go down, we get even more disconnected from our club. And I think that's the sad thing for me. I'm going to be bitterly disappointed that I don't get to see him play every week on the television. But I'll get over it. I want what's best for the club long term. And if going down to then come back a little bit stronger is the way to go, perhaps. But no, I appreciate what you do, Sam, with this podcast. I've really enjoyed being a part of it, and I hope to be a part of it for the future.
Good man. All right, cheers, Paul. Have a nice day. Try to enjoy it if you can. Appreciate you coming on. Thanks very much. Craig, I'll come to you. Actually, before I do so, I can see Kirk standing by. Kirk will bring you in shortly. Jack as well. We had Max, but he's gone. But we'll bring in Reese as well. Reese, it was great to chat to you yesterday. So we'll be on with you very shortly. But Craig, I'll come to you. Do you feel as though Jefferson Lerma obviously got booked relatively early, and we know that Jeff's almost half the player when he gets booked. And do you think that was something that maybe affected the team? Because that was at 1-1, and then we go 2-1 down pretty much straight after that. But do you think that always has its consequences?
I think he was a little bit more careful. To be honest, I think he was lucky not to see red. As much as it would be a nightmare if he did. His foot was high. It was a 2-footed challenge. And Solskjaer was in the stands, shaking his head. And personally, I think he was a bit of a lucky boy. But yeah, I do agree. I think he's half the player. I think he's a bit more cautious. Just very quickly, Sam, as well, I've just been watching some of the messages ping up about Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
Were some of these fans, who are saying this, did they not see, what he did when we was -17, when Jimmy Quinn left the club, what dire straits we was in? And this man's managed to pull us from League Two in the absolute mire, get us promoted. Okay, went to Burnley, then Groves come in, made a complete hash of the job. Bradbury didn't do too badly, but when Eddie come back, managed to pull us back up, get us promoted from League One, and then from the Championship, which everybody knows, if you look at all the teams in the Championship, you've got the Nottingham Forest, you've got the Readings, you've got the Derbys, you've got all those teams that it's a bit of a graveyard of ex-Premier League clubs.
Yeah, it is.
And he managed to get us through that. And I can't believe why people want to, think that getting rid of Eddie Howe is a good idea. It's not. It most definitely is not.
In some people's eyes, I think based on what he did lower leagues and bringing them up to the Premier League, he's almost got a green card for however long. We have been thriving in the Premier League. People sometimes forget the size of the club we are. I know we've spent a lot on transfers, and this season has been very difficult with the fact that we've had to bring in a number of new players and get them playing through injuries. There have been some matches we've had where we've had 5 or 6 personnel that are different from the starting 11 last season. So it has been a hard season for him. But that said, he has got weaknesses, though, hasn't he, in terms of his tactics? And sometimes he's a bit naive and maybe overly long time, could you say?
I would say, against Newcastle, taking off Brooks and Danjuma, it was, I just don't know what he was thinking doing that. Some of the signings haven't been brilliant, but then again, every manager has their faults. They make signings where they think, and I'm sure, was it Ben that mentioned that Solanke did really well in one of the European Championships or World Championships? I think it was the under-21s, wasn't it, or something? I'll have to have a look at it again. But Eddie's probably based his decision on that. Thought, okay, he'll do a good job for us. He'll step up to the mark, and he hasn't. And there's always going to be those gambles. And I still swear he's the best man for the job. He will probably pick players out from the lower leagues. or the Championship that, you know, will be able to make the difference in our side. We will still have the parachute payments. Yeah, we're not going to be able to keep hold of many of our stars. Wilson will go, King will go. I think Lewis Cook will probably go back to Leeds, in all honesty. But we'll have the nucleus there, and we'll have those parachute payments to make sensible signings. I mentioned in our video about the restart, about Eze at QPR. And I'm pretty sure that's probably gone through Eddie's head. He's the sort of player that, you know, would jump out to Eddie Howe. I honestly think he can't be sacked after all he's done for this football club. It would be it would devastate me, because I think he's the best man to get us up. You know, who's to say the person that comes in won't be another Paul Groves? You know,
yeah, very true, very true. Well, Craig, we're going to bring you back in about 10 minutes. We're going to bring other people in, if that's cool.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
What we've got is Louis on standby, so I'll bring Louis in now. Hello, mate. I'll come to you shortly. Also got Jack as well. We'll keep you on standby, and also Kirk as well, familiar face, of course. So I'll just meet you while I just come to Mark, just to finish off your sort of bit, Mark. Give me some positives from today, and what can we take into the match against Spurs on Thursday? I mean, why can we be optimistic, and what personnel maybe performed quite well enough today to perhaps warrant a starting spot for our next game?
I mean, I think definitely one of the positives is that the games are coming thick and fast. As much as it's a case of we can be running out of time, or we could be running out of time. The games are coming to us, really quick. So we have an opportunity to, carry on, some of the good form that we did have from today. I would definitely say, let's look to start with Rico again. It's nice to have, a left-sided player actually playing left back today and actually getting forward and making those overlapping runs that we, come so used to, wanting and seeing from our club. Do you know what? More than happy with Kelly at centre back today as well, and actually when I saw the team announcement that Cook wasn't starting today, I actually felt quite good about it, because I don't know, since the Liverpool game he's just come back and he's just not been himself. I mean, attacking wise, you definitely got to stick with King up front as well. Hopefully, Brooks will have a decent rest now and come back and looking fitter, stronger and sharper, with every passing day. The jury's still out on Solanke, really, isn't it? Is it going to be another eye scenario where we're just like, go on, just one more game. It's going to happen this game. It's going to happen that game. And it's just not going to come to fruition. But then again, you think to yourself, do you know what? If the worst happens and we do go down, do you know what? I'll say it here first, he'll probably bang in 20, 25 goals for us next year. It's just got that kind of feeling to it. Other than that time, I wouldn't really make too many changes to the starting lineup today. I think there was a lot more positives than there were negatives today. I don't know. I'm personally and ahhing over Smith today. It's a bit like maybe with Cook, and maybe this is some of the repercussions from some of the things he said after the Newcastle game. Whether you take Smith out, based on form, or whether again he'll look at his performance today and give him maybe a kick up the backside for it. Remains to be seen. But I don't think there's really many changes that we need to make from today's starting lineup. I just probably wouldn't bring Harry Wilson on it, if anything. Again, he comes on today, and I almost forgot that he was on the pitch, which is a real shame. Because I'm sure there's so much more that he can give in an attacking prowess, and whether we're actually using him to his strengths rather than just like the free kicks, still remains to be seen. But again, that's probably Eddie being.
Yeah, completely agree. Thank you very much for coming on, Mark. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much for your thoughts. And I don't know if everyone else had this, but his screen wasn't moving for me, so it's like he was the world's best ventriloquist. Reese, we'll come to you. Nice to chat to you again. I'm chatting to you all the time at the moment, but thoughts on
I'm really
today?
happy.
Yeah. I mean, you look quite optimistic.
I feel really happy. This is I reckon this is going to be another great escape.
Yeah, I do.
I honestly think Morgan was so harsh. Like we were comfortable on the ball. That goal that got chalked off was too harsh. I reckon it should have been 3. At best, we should have at least lost, I don't know, 3-2 or 4-2, because the set piece, the Bruno Fernandes free kick, definitely offside. Like that's what they need to fix. If we stay up, that's what they need to fix next season. They need to fix the VAR. But we played so well. If we played like this against Wolves, or if we played like this against Crystal Palace, we've got 3 points or a point at least. Like when I saw Stanislas score that goal, I screamed. I went fucking mental. Like I screamed my head off. Like I thought Stanislas wouldn't score. I thought he'd either square it or it'd either go wide. But it's not the first. Like he said, it's not the first time he's done that to here. But I feel quite positive going to Spurs and Leicester because we're playing better against the better opposition, and Callum will be back. I'm hoping for Callum to be better than before. I'm hoping, in my opinion, I think we can either get a point or 3 points against Spurs because they lost to Sheffield. Like I'm sounding quite deluded, but I reckon like this, it takes that one win, that one result. Like it's either 2 wins or a win and 2 draws. But that's what I want at the goal. That's what I think we're capable of getting. Like I fully believe. We're gonna go. That's what I think. We're going down, but I feel quite optimistic because we're scoring goals. Like even those 2 chalked off goals, Brooks, Danjuma, we have the capability of scoring goals. That's what I'm happy about. They're putting in they're fighting. They're putting in their all.
David Cordell, you are nodding your head there and agreeing with a lot of what Reece is saying.
Absolutely agree with Reece.
And Eddie is the man for the job. I've never doubted him. Like there's been his moments, but I believe he should. I don't care. I want him till I die. Eddie till I die. Like he's such a he's a fantastic manager. He does get it wrong, but I don't want to. When we attacked, it was with pace and attack. We attack with fight.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, when Danjuma scored that, I went mental. Like,
it was a great goal, and there were a couple of moments like during the game where I thought that we were unlucky. There were a number of moves that we had where attacks broke down. Obviously we had that offside, and there was a great attack in the second half where Stanislas could have set us on the. But I think his pass kind of went between 2 people and sort of went out of play. And there's just individual moments. But David Cordell, I'll bring you in now, all the way from Washington. What was your analysis of that performance?
Well, apart from the fact that I was on the TV screen when they scored, and I thought that's the kind of performance we were looking for today. Right? We were complaining before. I mean, Newcastle was terrible. Thought Wolves was okay. Palace wasn't great, but today we played well, and there was a free-flowing game. We're playing one of the most informed teams in United. We have to just now, and I said this before, we have to go 1-0. We have to look at each game separately. We have to win one game at a time, and then try to do the greatest escape ever. And I just have a feeling that we're going to do it. I don't know why, but I agree with Reece. I think we're gonna surprise everybody. I think we play well against Leicester, and I think we can get a result there, against them. And I think maybe we get a result against Spurs. We're within 1 point, and Aston Villa and West Ham both have tough games, as does Watford. I still think we've got a shot.
That's good to hear, Jack. Are you still thinking that we got a chance, or is your hopes dwindling by the day?
I mean, I came on here listening to Morgan. I was sat on my phone watching and hearing Morgan's damning sort of response to what happened in the 90 minutes just then. But honestly, if we play like that against Spurs, we'll get 3 points, at least. I think there was a couple of players that didn't quite pull their weight. I thought Billing didn't do particularly well. Lewis Cook looked better on his game. Kelly looked comfortable in centre-back. Rico looks even maybe a little rusty, but he still looks pretty good.
Even to last season, I'm too scared of Steve Cook in defence. Like, he is woeful.
He's not woeful. He's got a ricket in him, but I wouldn't say he's woeful.
He's got quality. He's got quality. Yeah, I know he does have quality. He can have quality. In my opinion, Mepham's better.
I say on his day, both
on their days, Mepham. Like when I went to my first ever Premier League game, Brighton away, and I saw Chris Mepham defending, I thought he was excellent. Like, and this game as well, I felt like Kelly at centre back. Yeah. I felt more comfortable with him at the back than Steve Cook. Like, you guys might disagree with me, but I feel more like safer for Kelly than Steve Cook.
Kelly played very well. I mean, you got to give the guy.
I can see both sides.
So
what about our centre midfield pairing? Because I thought that Lewis Cook and Lerma did quite well. I mean, Lewis Cook was spreading some lovely balls out wide, and Lerma was in himself until he got booked. Then he seemed to be off his game a lot. But Jack, ultimately, when it was Greenwood that scored that incredible goal to make it 4-2, it was Lewis Cook and Lerma just doing 1-2s like on the edge of our box, trying to clear it, and little flicks that ultimately gifted possession to Man United. I mean, yes, the shot was quality, and Steve McManaman was laying into Rico a bit, but from that angle, you don't expect something like that. But what were your thoughts today in general on the centre midfield pairing? And is Dan Gosling maybe hard done by not to be starting?
I think he was hard done by, because he definitely, his interview that he gave after the Newcastle showed that he had the fight in him that we need.
Yeah.
But I feel like Lewis Cook and Jefferson Lerma on the edge of the box, they were only trying to follow the game plan, I think. We were always trying to hit United on the break. They were trying to play the ball out instead. And yeah, some people will blame Eddie for that. But a lot of people seem to forget with Eddie. I scrolled through the Facebook page and there's so many people calling for his head already after a performance like that, which so many people called a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. Like, people forget that he's such a young manager. His transfers have been a bit iffy, but he's got so much more to learn. And I'm proud that he's here for as long as he's here.
I got to tell you, the kind of crap that's been going on the Facebook pages this week with that calling for Eddie to go is absolutely ridiculous.
The people giving Eddie criticism, no. It's not us, it's the players. Like, the players are starting to work. I'm saying this year, I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I reckon we can walk away with 3 points either against Leicester on next Sunday or Spurs on Thursday. Like, I fully believe, I fully believe in our squad that we have the capability. We have that fight. We have that, like I said about that Dan Gosling goal. We had that spark in this game as well. The 2 goals. That's another bit of spark. Like, we're scoring goals. We never did that. Now we're scoring goals. Look at Dan Juma. Look at Kingy. Look at Brooksy. Like, it's making me much happier. We're actually putting in a performance. It's 50-50.
Sorry.
No, don't worry. It's 50. It's 50-50 that we're either going to go down. Like, it's because we've got that fight now. We've got that. It's Manchester United. It's one of the best teams in England. Like, what are we going to expect? Like,
do you think Eddie? I mean, here's a question for you guys. Do you think Eddie? If let's say we stay up, do you think Eddie will stay? Do you think he'll want to stay after he's seen some of the? I mean, I think he doesn't go on social media.
Well, I think the situation's changed with Eddie now. I don't think he's going to be in demand anymore, if I'm being honest, like he was previously. I mean, he was second on the list for the England job when, Gareth Southgate was up there for the job. The counter argument I have with Eddie Howe is, I mean, I put out there 6 months ago when he was under pressure then, is that I don't necessarily think he should have been sacked because he's a legend. He's given me memories that I could never have dreamed of. But my argument has always been is that he's never in a position where pressure's been put on him to maybe change his ways or think of something different. It's almost like the word that he's unsackable. If you take any other manager, in my opinion, in this league that has the same run of form or disappointing results, what's it, 1 in 21 or something, you pretty much say any other manager in this league loses their job. And I said last week, for me, we stick with Eddie now. If we're going to the Championship, he's the right man for the job. But I shouldn't think that anyone should be too comfortable. That's my counter argument to it, and that's the same comment I had 6 months ago.
But that's why they haven't given him, for example. I mean, I've always thought he's deserved a lifetime contract, right? Because
I want
what he's
everyone's
done
opinion. Karen. Sorry.
So from what he's done for this club, I mean, I remember the days of watching John Benson and the crap that we had to watch in the late 19 or the mid 70s. And to think we're even in the Premier League and that we've stayed there 5 years and people want to get rid of the guy who's done that. Are you crazy?
I mean, I don't want to get rid of him, but do you agree that he should almost not have any pressure put on him at any stage? That's my argument. I don't think we get rid of him, but is it too safe? Is the job too secure that he can't have a conversation with JT and go, do you know what? We got to change something up because we're going to be under pressure. I don't think there's ever a situation he can just continually play plan A and know that he's got a safe job every week. I think we stick with him now. But I'm just putting out there a counter argument.
I think he goes if he walks.
Go on, Jack. Sorry.
I just think the only way Eddie Howe is going to leave AFC Bournemouth is if he walks out of his own accord.
And that's my point. Is the job too safe that when we're in a situation where he might need to mix it up a little bit, or he might need to find a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. There's not something pushing him in that direction. And I want to reiterate. The only issue I have is we see time and time again that he evaluates every game to the millimetre. However, you see Smith poor against Newcastle on Wednesday. 3 days later, there's nothing between Smith and Stacey, in my opinion. You can flip a 50p coin and you can pick one of them. They're pretty similar. But for me, you don't play Smith today after how he performed against Newcastle. We pretty much opened the door and let the winger go round him, and that's my argument, is he makes similar mistakes time in, time in. He's a legend. I love the guy. He's given me memories. I'd keep him, but I just want a bit of pressure on him when the going gets tough. That's just my opinion.
Do you think the fact that there are so many within the club that are his mates is maybe not putting pressure on him as much as it should, because there are no external influences. They're all people that you can WhatsApp in a heartbeat. Good mates that he's played with for long periods of time, and that's the argument that's always brought out. But for me, like, the flimsiness of the argument is the fact that when we win, no one talks about it, and when we lose, we always talk about it, and every team has that. But we constantly talk about the coaching staff. I'm split. I'm split about it.
I think Eddie could. I think Eddie could do with a couple of coaches who aren't his buddies, right? I think that would actually help him. But on the other hand, I can see his position. He's comfortable with people who buy into his system, and they buy into his system all the way through the youth team coaches. So I see it both ways. But maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea for him to reach out and get another coach who he isn't familiar with, just to bring some new ideas.
He has got someone there. There's a Spanish fella that came in a couple of years ago that he's had. Right. And I think he's helped shore up the defence, but I think that's about it.
I think that was to help out Rico with his language as well.
Actually, I think it's more to help out Jefferson Lerma.
Coming off the back of that for you, Sam. So when Eddie came back, I knew personally, really good friends with someone who was within the club under the Paul Groves regime, and also there was non-ex AFC Bournemouth players in there. And the minute Eddie came in, he literally chopped the lot. So he's actually the Leyton Orient manager now, the guy I'm talking about. So I have a little bit of a background into some of the stuff that went on. But we love all these players that are at the club. We love the Connells, we love the Fletchers, we love all of that. We love them all. But is it too much? Is there too many of them? Do we need some outside influence just to give a different outlook for us? I love all these ex-players. They're legends. But, I do agree with you a bit there, Sam.
Thoughts on that, Louis? I mean, you've been enjoying your Solero there in the top corner of the screen quite a lot by the looks of it. What have your thoughts been on Eddie Howe so far? Because, a lot of people say that he has his friends within the club. A lot of people say that he is overly stubborn and he plays the players that have maybe done well for him over time. And also he sticks to his guns with some of the signings that he's had, and he's persisted with players that perhaps haven't performed. And also his man, bless you, his man management is very very good with players that have come from lower leagues. But when you sign the big money, signings for 7 figures or 8, it's maybe not as good. What are your thoughts on Eddie as a whole, Louis?
Well, definitely Eddie in, no doubt about that. Not see him being sacked. But I guess it's good having a few mates of his with him. But I think you need a bit of a balance. You need someone from the outside from another perspective, make him sometimes change up when needed.
What were your thoughts on the performance today, Louis? Do you feel a bit better than you did after the Newcastle game?
I'm really happy. Yeah, it was really been a massive change really significant change since the Newcastle game and the other couple. And I wouldn't say I'm feeling optimistic about us staying up, but I'm definitely feeling revitalised and positive about the team and seeing that we can, if we play anything close to that, or if we play similar to that in the next few games, I think we have maybe 50-50 chance of staying up.
So, okay, play like that. Okay, we got, 5 games left. Where are the points going to come from? Obviously, Spurs, Man City, Leicester, Saints, Everton.
I think we could beat. We have a decent chance against Leicester. Maybe nick a point against Spurs. Maybe a point against Southampton. That might be enough. But
it seems to me like that Norwich and Brighton are now out of the equation. So we're just looking at like they were once in it, but not anymore. Brighton are pulling away. So we're still looking at sort of Watford and West Ham, but. They went to Chelsea, who are not a bad side. They had a good result previous to their last match, and West Ham turned them over. We've still got our defensive weaknesses, though, haven't we? And a lot of people have been going on about Smith, how he's been relatively poor, either on the left side or on the right side, when there's a young, fresh Jack Stacey in that loves to get up the pitch, albeit Stacey sometimes gives the ball away, as we saw again today. But is it a case of loyalty yet again? Basically... Smith, a lot of people are saying on Twitter, I'm just reading now, like people are saying maybe 2 of the 3 goals, maybe all 3 were his fault on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Well, the penalty was.
What I'm saying is, if we go down, I want us to beat Southampton. That'll make if we go down,
do the double.
I'd love that. I want everyone to
More importantly, I don't want us to lose to Southampton. That will send us down. That would be worse.
Yeah, that would be. I want your opinion on this starting lineup. I've had my opinion on for Spurs. So Stacey, Ake, Kelly, Rico, then Brooks, Cook, Gosling, Stanislas with Wilson and King up top.
Yeah, right. Louis, we're just going to take you out in a minute and bring Craig back in. Morgan is standing by as well. And I'm just looking at the chat here, and there's a guy on chat called Irish Potato. Hello. Right. You are someone that likes tippy-tappying away on your keyboard. Open invite, tippy-tappy to this address, afcbpodcast.com/take part. Press the button, and you can be a real person and come on here, and you can shout us down if you want. But if you can't do that and you go on chat and keep on mouthing again, then I'll just put you in timeout or I'll block you. But, have the stones, be a man and come on the chat like properly. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. If you've got a page, go phone, I'll PayPal you a £5 so you can put money on it, whatever. Anyway, Craig Beasley, you've been hearing a lot of people talk about, Eddie Howe. You're a man that will stand by him, but Adam Smith, we spoke about him, and Paul Kenwood's agreed on Twitter, on the chat here. That right back position, it seems to always be his, and maybe it shouldn't be.
No, I think he was at fault for the 3 goals today, and maybe you need to look at the longer term option. I don't think Stacey's, a bad player. I think he'll get there eventually. But yeah, I think Smith has made some bad mistakes since the restart. Before that, he was quite dependable. But yeah, I've been disappointed with Smithy.
Can I pick up on there as well, Sam?
Go for it.
So definitely at fault for 2 of the goals for me, or if not 3. Do we remember watching Steve Cook in League One when every time he made a mistake, he seemed to get punished? We always conceded a goal when Steve Cook made a mistake. It seems to be a similar story with Smith this season. Every time he makes a mistake, we get punished. You know, if the first goal, he falls for a Mason fake little move inside and then he steps back out and Smith goes for the full in thinking he's going to make the run inside, falls for that. The second one, it's Burnley all over again with his arms. He's not in control of his arms, you know. And for me, as much as he's a good player going forward on his day, he's defensively all over the shop. And most of this season is reminded me of watching Steve Cook in League One. And I think every time he makes a mistake, we're going to concede a goal. And for me, he was poor on Wednesday. It was only 3 days before the next game. Why Stacey's not in there for me? If you had a week's break and you think, okay, well, Eddie's had a week to work with him and he's freshened up, but he shouldn't have gone in there based on his performance on Wednesday and only having 3 days rest. I mean, that's a bit of a slap in the face to Stacey, in my opinion.
Kurt, just a quick thing on that as well. Sorry, how do we turn Smithy round? Because the thing is Smithy, you know, is a good player. He's shown that he's a good player all these years. For us, you know, he's not become bad overnight. I think. How do we turn him round? You know, what's gone wrong there? Because I don't know the answer, to be honest. So I'm just scratching my head what we should do with him.
I don't have the answer either, and I'm hoping Eddie has the answer. If I'm being honest, I think what the problem is he's been pushed out to left back to get Stacey in the team, and clearly Eddie wasn't comfortable playing Rico there, or didn't have enough confidence or trust or whatever it is. So Smith's been pushed over to the left, then he's come back to the right, then he's played left back so many times. On Wednesday, he just wanted to go back over to the left. So, you know, and I don't know if it's a confidence thing that's finally he's been put back on his right side, but he's forgot how to defend. I mean, as I said, he has been a bit of a liability this year, and he seems to get punished on every time he makes a mistake or defensive error. I mean, the Burnley game, Sam was there. I've seen obviously the YouTube of Sam being there. You know, we think we're celebrating a goal, and then we go back and it's maybe a harsh decision if we're being honest. It's arm and shoulder, but it's still his arms out and about, and it's still a mistake again.
How many of you thought that penalty that we were going to have was not going to get given, you know, going on Bournemouth's luck? Because Adam Smith was, you know, we were shocked with Adam Smith, and I thought this is so going to go on Man United's side, and I was genuinely shocked when that was given.
Yeah, well, I was shouting at screens, to be honest, Sam. I turned around. I was like, "You've pulled the play up. You know, it's our penalty. You know, it's Bailey's put his." How do you say it? He's put his arm out, and you know it was a definite penalty. It was a definite penalty, 110%.
Do you know what was lucky?
Go on.
Sorry, Craig. Go on. Sorry.
No, to be honest, I did doubt we was going to get it. To be honest, guys, I did think, well, it's just our luck that we won't get that given, and
especially when you knew who was in the VAR room.
Do you know what? Do you know what was lucky for us was that Mike Dean gave the pen, because by giving the pen, VAR had to then confirm that he made an obvious error, and that wouldn't have been an obvious error because obviously it was so close to the arm. If he hadn't have given the pen, VAR could have quite easily gone, that wasn't an obvious pen. So actually, by him giving the pen, I felt more confident that they couldn't overturn it.
Yeah,
Can I ask a question about the free kick? Because I thought that their free kick, I think it was the fourth goal, where they had a guy in front of the wall. Shouldn't that have been disallowed?
Well, yeah, was it Matic? Was it? It was. You know, they were saying that maybe he wasn't in his line of sight, but we never saw that angle as viewers, so it's very difficult to know. But yeah, that was another one that I thought might go our way. But I'm gonna bring a couple more people in. David, thank you so much for coming on, and appreciate your views. Hope to see you again in better circumstances. Let's put it that way.
A win after Tottenham.
Yeah, that would do. That would do. Thanks very much, mate. Nice to see you. And what we're going to do is we will bring in Max as well, who should be here. We'll just mute you for a bit, Max. But while you sort your camera out, etc. So Reese, just to close, before I rotate it and bring some more people in, there are reasons to feel optimistic then against Spurs, right?
Yeah. Like the goals, like we scored first. We didn't score last.
Yeah.
We scored first. Open a goal. Anyways, everyone on the stream, have a nice night. God bless. Take care, Sam.
Nice one. Cheers, Reese. Thank you very much, mate. And
Well done,
I'll
Reese.
speak to you soon, of course. Max, not sure if you can hear us okay or not. Seems to be a lot of movement with your microphone. You know what? Max, can you hear us okay?
I'm having trouble with the internet.
Okay, mate. No worries. We'll see. We'll get you back on ASAP. But we'll bring in Morgan as well. But from Brittany in France, Al, you said on Twitter during the week that if Bournemouth get a result against Man United, you will wear a dress. And let's full screen you because I'm seeing no dress. So yeah, it was a defeat, but a better defeat, could you say?
I was quite chuffed with the performance because what we've had in the first 3 games off the lockdown has been bang, bang, average, poor. And today, the effort was there. We've got 2 home games coming up. All right, home influence is nothing now. It means pretty much nothing. Who knows? Hey, if we can grab 2 wins, but it was a much improved performance, and I was chuffed with 1-0 up. I was dancing around it, and I went and got that dress, Sam, and I was ready to put it on. And the missus was out with the lipstick, and she was going right. Today has given me a little bit of hope. Right, we're down to just 5 games left. We know what's at stake. Everyone's written us on. I was listening to Radio 5, then Talk Sport, then Soul, and then the American feed I was watching, and they've all written us off. But I tell you what, if we can put that sort of effort in with another 10%, we might get a couple of results.
So against Spurs, who obviously will look shaky against Sheffield United, do you think we could punish them?
Well, we could do. Callum's back now. Hopefully, he might have learnt his lesson. Naughty boy, had his 2-game suspension, and he's had a bit of time off. So hopefully, he can come back and bang a couple in. But I don't know. Once again, Dom and Josh don't really work up front. It didn't work for me, and it hasn't done in the couple of games. But it'd be nice to see Callum back, and hopefully he'll start firing. If not, it might be curtains.
Do you think it will be a bit of a kick in the teeth to people like Sam Surridge, who I've just got a horrible feeling that if our relegation, our fate has been confirmed and we've got, say, 3, I mean, it won't be confirmed until later on, but do you think that once Eddie's almost resigned, at that point he'll be playing him? In which case it's a bit harsh on him, given that he's not really had chance to sort of change our trajectory himself, because he's shown that he can score goals.
When the fat lady has sung, then you will see people like Surridge get in, and it'll be experience for next season, should it be in the Championship. He's very, very loyal, Eddie, to the players he's had. Surridge, yes, I'm sure he's going to get his chance before the end of the season, but sadly, it might be a little bit too late to save what we have.
Yeah. Jack, what are your thoughts on Sam Surridge versus Dominic Solanke? Because it seems that he wants to persist with this 2 up front. I was surprised. I thought he might have gone a little bit more, put an extra man in the middle or maybe at the back, but he went the sort of 4-4-2 route. It did sort of change during that quite a bit, but effectively it was King and Solanke up front. I thought they were very far apart for strikers that are supposed to be playing together. Josh King was flicking it on. Solanke was miles from him. I don't think it worked. I do think that Solanke's got potential, but he's just not showing it week on week. So do you think now's the time that if we are going to play 2 up front, I know Callum's going to be coming back in now, so it's probably going to be Josh and Callum. But do you think, in hindsight, looking at a game like today, Sam Surridge should have been blooded?
I think we need to roll the dice. I think we're at the point in the season where we're playing the same team pretty much week in, week out, hoping they play out of the form they're in. And that works to an extent, but as we've seen in Smith's case, it hasn't. But I think I'll go as far as to say Solanke was okay, but that's as far as I'd go. I feel like Surridge has been harshly treated for most of the season since he's come back. I feel like he's deserved a chance. He came on against Arsenal and scored. I feel like he needs a chance before the 75th minute to make an imprint on a game. He just hasn't been given that chance just yet. I saw a lot of head shake when I said Solanke was okay, and I apologise.
Who was shaking their head? Who was shaking their head then? Craig. Craig, are you far away, Craig?
I think he's had enough chances. There's, he had a golden opportunity against Newcastle. Yeah, okay, it was a little bit on the half turn, but he skied it. He doesn't create anything. Part of being a striker isn't just getting the goals, but is setting up and getting in good positions to, for your strike partner. He doesn't do that. Personally, I think he'll struggle in the Championship. And I'd rather Surridge play. I'd rather Surridge play in there rather than Solanke. I wish we'd started with Surridge today. I really do. I really do.
Morgan, you're nodding your head as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he was pretty hopeless. I don't know if you got the same notes down as me today, but I put down poor practice for Solanke as ever. I thought he was absolutely shocking. From the notes I made, I think I got 2, and I think the rest were very negative on today's performance. But yeah, did you get any notes down today?
Like you didn't today. We had company. I was trying to watch the game and I was kind of interrupted. Right, for me today, I haven't watched the first part of this podcast, by the way, of this show. Right, Stan, great. Stan was great today. Brooks, we didn't see a lot of. He's tracking back wasn't what he used to do, and he looks very, very quiet and out of shape. Billing came on, and the first thing he did was stretch for a tackle, and he was holding his thigh and was pretty ineffective as well. But let's give credit to Man United here, and I don't like saying this about other teams. They scored some great goals. They are in form. They are now 16 games unbeaten. They met a Cherries side who haven't won in yonks, and I think the result was inevitable, and I'm just surprised we scored 2 goals.
Yeah, well, we went into that game and
Go on, Morgan.
We went into that game and they said on BT I was lucky to be on the fan wall. But we went in and we never won at Old Trafford, so we were always going to go there. And I didn't think we were going to take anything from today's game. The fact that we got 2 goals compared to last December when we went there, I think we lost 5-1. I think it was. Brooks scored and Ake got a header. And the fact that we got 2, and we weren't playing the best then, but we're definitely not in the position we are now. So today with a lot of pressure, and the fact that we still got 2 goals at Old Trafford, quite remarkable. And okay, you could say the penalty was lucky, but Stanislas' first goal was a really good class finish against a £75 million defender, Harry Maguire. So the fact that he finished it off, and it was absolutely amazing for the first couple of minutes, and then it just went down from there.
Yeah,
but for 10 minutes, Harry Maguire was trending on Twitter. Your career has been ruined
because he got embarrassed.
Yeah. But
well, you say
just going to what you said, Al. I thought Stanislas was fantastic today. I thought he was really, really good. Yeah. He had the beating of the Man United defenders. Definitely Maguire, like you say, and I thought he was really, really good. What I probably would, we did was stick him in the middle, and maybe put Danjuma on there, because I don't know why Danjuma started on the bench. I think he's been really, really good.
I think he should have definitely just started, okay. From what you said, yeah, 100%. He had that little curling effort against Newcastle, and that wasn't that far away. When I saw the team sheet today, I was thinking, why is Danjuma not starting? For me, Danjuma has to start. 100%.
Yeah, same here.
I think I thought going back into the season, I thought Brooks would be our best player. Now I know he's got a cast on his wrist, but he doesn't look sharp. He looks very unmatched fitness from like his. I remember the commentary. 35 minutes into the game, he hadn't even touched the ball like more than 2 times. Now, I'm a massive lover of Brooks, but today he was just not a great day at the office. But yeah, Danjuma has to start for me. Compared to all our winners, as he is the best.
Do you know what?
The
The good thing is if the worst does come to the worst and we do go down, we have got, the best left-sided midfielder in the Championship. Danjuma will absolutely tear that league up. And I think he's a fantastic player. From what I've seen so far, he's been very, very unlucky that he's been injured most of the season. I think he'll tear that league up. And that's why I think we need to stay by Eddie Howe, because Eddie Howe brought him in. I never really heard much about him before he came here. And that's what Eddie does best, and that's what you need in the Championship. You need a manager that can pull players out of nowhere. Stacey, for example, I think Stacey's going to be a fantastic player in the Championship. That's what you need. Maybe he's got sucked in by pulling in players like Solanke, like Ibe, who have already been here, gone through the youth scheme at Liverpool, who have sold us a couple of duds, I'll be honest. And Harry Wilson, I don't rate either.
I thought Lloyd Kelly, just to chip in there, when I first saw that, I was like, where's Meckham? And then I found out he had a injury that Eddie said in it. And I thought Lloyd Kelly had a really good game at centre-half.
He did, yeah.
You got to remember that Lloyd Kelly hasn't played competitive football in some time. And he is only, I think he's only like 21, I want to say. But he's quite young. And the fact that he came straight in, I thought he looked quite solid. He might have done a few things wrong, like most people do every game, but I thought he had a really good game. I thought he made Steve Put like a bit of an idiot today. Steve Put come up after the.
I saw him, a couple of times when he was playing for Bristol City, on TV. Also saw the highlights reel of Kelly just before I spoke to Sam before we did the Wolves prediction, and I thought Kelly, he's a good player. He's a very, very good player. And that's why, I do not understand why people are saying, we need to get rid of Eddie Howe. No, we need to stick by Eddie Howe. He's the man that's dragged us up to this position. He's the man that is best positioned to get us back, here. And, what's worse, we go down, we get rid of Eddie Howe for whatever God knows reason, and we end up with a Paul Groves. That's only going to end in one thing, and that's tears. And I think Eddie will get it right. It's a setback. It's a setback. Nothing more than that.
I think coming out of this situation.
Sorry, go on, Al.
Sorry, I don't think the board would take the decision and say, right, Eddie, that's enough. I just wonder if Eddie would walk if we went down.
I think it's the question from the board. Eddie, do you think that's enough?
Yeah.
I think that's the question that will be asked. It'll be, Eddie, do you think you've taken this as far as it will go? And then it will be mutual consent almost.
Yeah.
I reckon those discussions were had 6 months ago as well.
Probably.
I reckon they were talk because I don't think the club would ever want to sack him because of everything he's done. So I think they would want a mutual agreement where he would walk. And I reckon those conversations were softly had in December, January. I reckon.
Brilliant. Okay, Morgan, we're going to just bring in. He's gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our team prediction. But thank you very much, Morgan, for coming on today, mate. Thank you so much, and also Al as well from Brittany. Thank you very much for. And maybe you can don the dress if we beat Spurs, perhaps.
All right, I'll double the bet. Okay. We're on.
Prepare the lippy and the mascara. We cannot wait. Okay. Cheers, mate. Nice to see you.
I love it.
See you later, buddy. Have a nice evening. And that was Al. So what we're going to do, just before we wrap up, guys, because your audio is like the clearest of the lot this evening. So what we're going to do is do our chosen 11 now for the next match, if that's cool with you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring up our team sheet here, and it's preset to a 4-5-1 formation. But obviously we can adjust that to however we want. So let's try to do this as mutually as we can. Ramsdale today, he'll probably be disappointed with. Especially that goal to make it the equaliser, because maybe he should have got a bit of a better hand on it. But he's going to start with the Ramsdale, isn't he?
100%.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. Kirk, I'll come to you then on the centre backs. What would you do, Kirk?
So for me, I wouldn't bring Cook back in. I mean, I don't know if he is injured, whether he's been dropped for obvious reasons. The concern I have with Ake and Lloyd Kelly is it's an unsettled two left-footers. That's one concern I have. I thought Lloyd Kelly played well today. It was a bit of a shock. He was at fault for the free kick goal. It was that he sort of wanted to jump in front, didn't he, and win the ball, and he gave away the free kick. But he's young. He's going to make mistakes. So I thought they played okay today. But it's having two left-footers that makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. I'd prefer to see Ake and Mepham in there if Mepham's fit, or Francis, and have Lloyd. Although I thought Rico played well, that's my situation on it, having that uneven two left-footers.
So yeah, we're going to go for an Ake, and would you say Mepham over Francis if fit?
I would go for Mepham if fit. Yeah, I mean, we've brought him in, so.
Do you think there's a chance that he will go? I mean, he didn't go 3 at the back against Man United in the Theatre of Dreams. Chances are, maybe against Man City would he do that, or not even against them?
We've tried 3 at the back so many times. I mean, can you remember we played 3 at the back against Preston? I think it was the worst game of football in the cup I've ever seen. We have tried 3 at the back so many times, and I can't ever remember us having a good game playing 3 at the back. So I hope he doesn't, if I'm being honest.
Okay, so Jack, we'll come to you on the fullbacks, right and left side. Who would you be picking?
I think Kelly's done enough today to keep a spot, not necessarily in the centre back, but stick him in at left back definitely. Although that is slightly harsh on Rico.
Rico didn't do bad today. I thought he played a few nice sort of direct passes into the feet of Solanke, who albeit couldn't control it for Toffee. But Kirk, you're shaking your head there, thinking, what, maybe Rico?
He was just the most positive left back we've had since we've come back. He played a few balls through. I think there was one in the first half where he took 2 midfielders out of the game and he played the ball into Solanke, and as you said, it bounced off him like a ping pong machine. But Rico does show that urgency when we're in possession, and he does want to try and get forward if Eddie allows him to get forward, and he does give him that freedom. And he has got that bit of creativity. I know there was a few balls he put in the box that just went straight down De Gea's throat, but he has got that in his locker. And I'm not saying Lloyd Kelly's done anything. I'm not saying Lloyd Kelly's done anything wrong today, but I would probably go with Rico.
By the way, what's a ping pong machine? It sounds like
I don't know. I have no idea. I assume you know what I was trying to say. But it bounced off him. Let's go with that.
Let's go with Rico then. But there's time that we can change it. So Jack, will come to you for right back then. Obviously, it's going to be Smith.
There's only one choice,
and that's Stacey, is it?
Stacey.
Yeah.
I would like that. It's the last sort of step for the old guard, I think. I was going to chime in with it earlier, but I think that's the last step of replacing the old guard. Is Smith's had his time, I think. He's had 2 shocking games, and I think it's Stacey now.
Okay, so I've added Stacey in there, and then Craig, I'll come to you with the formation against Spurs. Obviously, now is this a 5 in midfield jobby, or would it be 4-4-2 again? Given the fact that against Man United, who are on an impressive run of form, we went 4-4-2 against them.
I saw a comment earlier on about how much I always say about Sermon. No, to be honest, I've always rated Sermon. He's a player that always gives 110%. I would say, probably would stick with the 4-4-2. Gosling, he's come on, and he's done well. He did well. He was our best player on Wednesday night against Newcastle, and he only had 10 minutes. That says the rest of a lot about the rest of the team. So I think Gosling's got to be in there. I think what we should do is do it in a little bit of a diamond. So you've got Brooks and Danjuma on the wings.
Yeah.
But you've got second player up front. But you've got Lerma laying back a little bit, and then Gosling a little bit forward.
Okay. Let's see if I can.
The only thing is, Craig, is I agree with you. I'm really been impressed by Danjuma actually, and I think if we keep him next year, he'll be an asset. I don't think he's going to drop Stanislas after his performance today.
No, that's very true actually. And sorry, I do. That is a little bit of an oversight. I like that. It's a tough
do you think they go diamonds and stuff? I mean, are we saying that Lerma, Gosling? I mean, would it be 3 Kirk? Do you think?
I like the way this is looking. If I'm being honest, I just can't see him dropping Stanislas after he played so well. In this formation that you're going with, if we went with this, I can then see Lewis Cook filling in at player 8.
He has to be in there, I think.
I would say though, just very quickly, why not keep Danjuma on the left-hand side, put Stanislas slightly into the middle, and then put Gosling on the right-hand side next to Brooks? Would that work?
This is where the problem lies, doesn't it? Because us fans have really good ideas on how we think we can change things, and Eddie seems to have completely the opposite. I mean, I like the way that this is going and what it's looking like, but my gut feeling is I think he'll go with a flat 4 again as today, because it did play well for 20 minutes, and he'll probably go King and Wilson up top. So, although this looks really good, I don't think it'll be anything close to what he'll actually put out on Thursday.
If he plays 2 up front, he's got to play King and Surridge. He can't play Solanke. Solanke he's how many goals is it? One in how many games now?
The only way I can see you getting Danjuma in this team while Stanislas is in is if you play Brooks as a number 10 and he'll play behind Wilson. And then you'll have Stanislas and Danjuma with Lerma and Cook or Lerma and Gosling in the middle. But then you've got no King. So, and he'll play King as well, because he always plays King.
So if we were to go 4-4-2, who's that mean out of those 3 then that will not get on the pitch?
Well, I would
go with
Cook,
but
I would go with Gosling as well, but I think he'll go with Cook. But I would go with Gosling.
I mean, given the way that Cook was really combining well with Stanislas, especially in the first half, I thought that was pretty good. So are we saying that Lewis Cook and Jefferson Lerma then?
Yeah,
that's what I think Eddie will do. But I would go. But if you ask me, I would go with Lerma and Gosling. But I think he'll go with Cook and Lerma.
The reason being is that added steel, really. Gosling has been in this situation before. And he's shown that he's up for the fight. I think Lewis Cook is a little bit of a luxury player sometimes. He's talented, no doubt. But I would personally go with Gosling. He just has that added bit of steel.
Christianity Ronaldo.
What Steve Hensman said, he said controversial, but I'd leave Brooks out. He hasn't looked anywhere near it since restart. Is there an argument for that?
No, there isn't.
You'd still have him in there, wouldn't you? I mean, he looked. I mean, I'm being honest. He was a little bit of a spark if we had any against Palace. He did all right against Wolves in the first half. It was just unfortunate in those games we were defending more than we were attacking. You'd still have him in there for me. If he's fit, you can't leave Brooks out.
Well, against Newcastle, he tried to do things, but the problem is all the players around him were completely, utterly useless. That there was no outlet. You can't drop Brooks. No way.
So, but what about Callum Wilson though? Because he'll be back, won't he?
Yeah. And you got to play it. You got to play him. You got to play him. I mean, he's been poor, hasn't he? But he has been isolated as well. It's not. You can't push all the blame onto him. I mean, he had no one within 20 yards with him in the Wolves and Palace game. But he goes in, doesn't he? I mean, he's your reliable striker you've had for 6-7 years now. 6 years. So
Lewis Cook is that luxury that would probably get sacrificed then. If we were going 4-4-2, do you think this is near to what we'd probably get?
I reckon so.
Yeah, probably. I reckon Eddie, like Kirk said, and I do agree with you, Kirk. I think Eddie probably would drop Gosling for Cook. But personally, I think Gosling has got that added bit of experience. Still, I'd love to see Sermon, get on at some point to be able to spread it to the wings. I'm a big fan of Sermon. Some of the things he did when we was in the Championship, and he's outstanding player.
Can I just make a point on this? Is where the problem lies with what happened today and where we're going to be on Thursday. Is when we scored today, I cheered and it was amazing. It was great to have that feeling, jumped out. Do you know what happened instantly within 1 minute? I sat down and went, now you've got to manage the game, Eddie. Okay, we're 1-0 ahead and you've got to manage the game. And do you know what we did instantly after kickoff is dropped into that deep line that we had against Wolves. Okay. And that's where I think has been our downfall this season is when and I come back to the point that Paul Lawrence made right at the start. He said, when we get close to teams, we lose that closeness very quickly. And I don't think Eddie's managed games enough this season when we've been in a situation or we've been close to teams. And this is where the 4-4-2 issue comes in, is we probably needed to play like we were playing for the first 15 minutes for another 10 to 15 minutes, but we dropped instantly. And for me, he didn't manage the game, and we've been too easy to score against this season and too easy to beat, and that's been our downfall. And we're in a similar situation to Tottenham on Thursday. It's an identical situation. A Mourinho team that's never been hard to score against in Mourinho's last few years, and a Tottenham team that defensively are there to be had. However, going forward, they're just as good. It's an identical game on Thursday as it is today. Can we manage the game if we get ourselves ahead or get equalised? And that's what concerns me. And 30 seconds after we scored, I sat there and went, can we get to half time at 1-0? Can we get to half time when they're up? And I wasn't confident.
Do you know what? You're spot on there, mate, because the thing is as soon as we dropped back, we invited pressure on ourselves. If we had kept up that intensity that we showed in the first 20 minutes, we might have still conceded one, but at the same time, but had we done that against Wolves, we could have potentially got something. We potentially could have got a point from Molineux. But I don't believe in the sitting back. Go back to the game a couple of years back against Swansea, and we went straight at them. Okay, they weren't a particularly very good team, but we were all over them for 90 minutes. They did well to weather our storm, but I think we're better, on that attack. I completely agree. As soon as we sit back, we invite pressure on ourselves, and that's where the mistakes happen. Kirk, you've got it in one, mate.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an interesting one against Spurs. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap it up there, guys. But what we're going to do is just bring in, someone else just before we go. Craig, thank you very much for coming on, mate. Appreciate that.
No problem at all.
I'll you before the Spurs game. Very much. Kirk as well, appreciate your views once again. I love those videos when you're running, by the way, like in the morning of a match. It really inspires me, so thank you very much. Keep doing that.
That's right. Can I just mention something? Thanks for having me on. That was a really good watch with Reese as well earlier. Watched that this morning after my run, so that was really good. Don't know how you held it together, but really good watch, mate. And keep positive, Reese. We're in it together.
We certainly are. And cheers, Jack, cheers, Kirk. And Jack also, thank you very much for coming on, buddy. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries at all. We're going to bring in Max now. Max, I've spoken to you before outside the Vitality. Hopefully your internet connection will be all good.
Yeah.
And, sum it up for us. Sum it up. How are you feeling after that? And can we bring in any optimism for the Spurs game?
Spurs will be tough, but today was just unlucky. I just thought we did well, 1-0 up. I did think they would come back, and they did, but you just need to focus on next game. Although they went 1-0, then they got a goal, and then went 3-1 up. Then we got a goal back from the Josh King penalty. What I saw, did we have 2 goals disallowed or something? Goals?
Yeah. I mean, one was like very, fine margins, but we had our chances, and VAR should have ruled out a goal for them, maybe based on the heel of Matic, but at the end of the day, it didn't.
Oh no, yeah.
Do you think that maybe going a goal up is sometimes, for us, it's a curse being 1-0 down because mentally, we can't deal with it, but sort of going 1-0 up so early is also a curse because you're thinking, shit, we have to defend now for like 75 minutes, and playing Man United, who are in a rich vein of form, you're thinking, how are we going to sort of keep them out? And our shape visibly changed. We invited pressure on, and there, it wasn't long before they scored 1-2. Oh yeah, just had a third before half time.
I know, because I just wanted it to be like when we drew 1-0 at half time. And in 2017, when it was 1-0 at half time, when Sermon got sent off, I just love it if it was like that, 1-0 at half time, just go all out attack.
Yeah, and that was when Mings had his moment as well, and that.
And stamped on Ibrahimovic's head. I found that hilarious.
Although apparently he didn't, but so ahead of Thursday game, then, mate.
Spurs at home.
Who should be starting? Do you agree with that team that you just seen?
Yeah, but. Let's get it up now then. Who did we play today? We had we got Arsenal beating Wolves, sorry. Right, so the team we had today was King, Solanke, Stanislas, Lemar, Cook, Brooks, Rico, Kelly, Ake, Smith and Ramsdale. To be honest, Lemar, he's a good player. I would think maybe start Gosling. He got us a consolation against Newcastle. I might start him instead of Lerma just to keep Lerma, save him getting any more yellow cards because he's a hot-headed person at times.
Although now I don't think it matters in terms of if he gets any more yellows, it won't sort of turn into a red. So he's got a bit of freedom now.
Yeah.
So I mean, what I'm showing on the screen at the moment is what Kirk, Jack, and Craig and myself sort of came up with jointly. But do you think 4-4-2 is a good formation to go with for this one?
To be honest, I think it is a good one because 4 at the back, 4 in the midfield, and then 2 up front is enough. Whereas I think Howe should play Sam Surridge instead of Solanke next game because Solanke only scored 1 goal since he's joined the club. I think 1 goal. Stanislas did great. Oh, that nutmeg against Maguire, I saw it on the back then. Oh, that was hilarious.
Yeah, but, that's an 80 one of those Premier League sort of on Twitter. They always do a showboating sort of tweet every now and then and put it together. We'll be seeing that, but obviously the context for us Bournemouth fans will be that we lost the game. Yeah. But that was a bright moment.
Yeah, 80 million defender from Leicester to Man United, getting nutmegged by Stanislas and then just scoring.
Yeah,
I've got to laugh at that. But to be honest, we got to be proud of ourselves because scoring 2 away against Manchester United is very good. To be honest, and they'll probably be kicking themselves conceding to a team like us that are in the relegation. But they're like what top team in the world, but not at the minute because they're playing absolutely abysmal. But you never know. We got Tottenham next game, and it's going to be tough. But it's not like we're going to win 1-0 and then get 2 men sent off again. Not like that's not going to happen.
No, true. Cheers, Max. Thank you very much for your opinions, mate.
Thank you, Sam,
for coming on. And when Stanislas scored that opener, it was just like the hair has been done from a tight angle yet again. Alas, it wasn't enough. 5-2. I'm feeling better though. I'm feeling better, and you know what? It's another pivotal game, but it's one of those where I think we now know the Spurs match is do or die. I know that each and every match has been getting increasingly important, but now we've seen that spark from Bournemouth. Can it be taken in to the next match? If it doesn't, we can say goodbye to the Premier League. If we manage to get something, well, maybe we got something to hold on to. It's going to be a very tough ask against a team that's probably going to be quite angry after their loss at Sheffield United. Thank you to everyone that's taken part today. Remember, after every game, we're going to be live for the rest of the season. Just go to afcbpodcast.com/take part, and then you can come in and have a chat about the game. Really appreciate all of you that have commented as well. And remember, if you like our content, then give it a thumbs up on this video. If you're on Facebook, you can like our page, but subscribe to YouTube as well. YouTube channel's been going since August. I think we're at 1,500 subscribers or something. So for a dinky little club like us, it's not too bad. And we're just trying to put out content to keep everyone engaged. And, you know, maybe it's not together on the pitch, but off the pitch, I think we're all doing a good job as a community. And if you want to take part in any videos or got any, suggestions of anything we can do, please let us know, because we are all ears. Back of the Net is a collaborative project. Not least, it's a podcast as well, which is out on Monday. So myself and Jeff Hayward and also Neil Dawson this week are going to be chatting about all things Cherries. It'll be out on YouTube on Monday morning and also on your podcast app. Just search for Back of the Net Bournemouth. Cheers for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you in the next video about the Cherries. Thanks very much.